Bosses in Gnomergan will not be bleed or poison immune. That is some huge news that dropped today, and I would anticipate the biggest news that dropped today from any of the new interviews coming out from Season of Discovery. And this comes directly from the Comeback Kids' new interview with Agrand and Nora, and this is something that was worrisome for not only warriors, but massively worrisome for feral druids, especially feral druid tanks, whose only threat builder was going to be Lacerate. You could swap it out for Mangle, also to affect bleeds, and for rogues who were using poisons, especially with the Deadly Brew rune. So let's check this response out right here.
Sure. So I think it's safe to say nothing will be outright immune to like bleeds and poisons and stuff like that. However, there will be likely additional resistance. It will certainly not be as punishing as BFD was to casters early on. That was probably too punishing, and we learned some lessons there. But yeah, I mean, we want to keep it thematic. Bosses having resistances is a very vanilla.
Sorry for cutting him off, but it's a very vanilla mechanic. So if a boss like Vicious Fallout, which is literally made up of like poison water, will most likely have some resistances to nature damage. This makes a lot of sense. It's something that's very natural. If you look at bosses like Viscidus later on in our AQ, you're gonna have that kind of happen. And the interesting thing is that we all expected the mechanical bosses within Gnomergan to be potentially bleed immune, and that also means poison immune. You can't make a machine bleed, you can't make a machine get poisoned, at least not in the reference of World of Warcraft Classic usually. I think this is a huge change and a huge up for all warriors and rogue mains out there, and warrior sims were already having them around 800 DPS on a 2-minute fight. Now, if you're looking at some of the other sims, if this reloads, if you look at Warlock, or sorry, this is a 1-minute fight. If you look at Warlock sims, they are doing ridiculous damage numbers on a 1-minute encounter. Warlocks are looking to be one of the strongest classes there is, and that's mostly just because of this one talent point. Well, not really, just they have everything in their toolkit but ruin. If they do have something like a lot of crits, if they had 100% crit percentage, Warlocks will do some ridiculous damage this phase. But warriors, we're simming things without any bleeds, and we can probably anticipate rogues were looking at whatever was going to happen without bleeds and poisons. Saber slash, a bleed, poisons, all of the poisons, especially with Deadly Brew. So now we have those as options, and you can definitely bet they're going to be viable. But I would also anticipate there's going to be some mobs within Gnomergan that go immune to certain amounts of damage. Now, it's actually kind of funny, but I guess the enhanced shaman sims are in the alpha and had their first tests last night, and they're doing something like 500 DPS. So comparatively, some classes will be way stronger than others. Now, outside of that news that we found out today, one of the other things is about class balance or faction balance. Now, Tom Ellis posted this on Twitter about an hour ago. Season 2 dropping on Thursday. Quick look at PvP realms in the US and EU on faction balance. Look at how incredibly balanced these are. Chaos Bolt, Crusader Strike, Living Flame, Lone Wolf, Shadow Strike, all of them almost exactly at 50%. Now, one of the biggest issues though for a lot of players is that the servers are quite literally locked, at least some of them. The biggest one would be Living Flame on the EU side. You cannot make another account and make a character here. It's not that you can't make an alliance because there's too many horde, or you can't make a horde because there's too many alliance. You literally just cannot make a character here. And they did actually address that when asked about unlocking Living Flame, and essentially it went into, they saw that one, you got rid of bots, they saw that it was effective, and they saw that everyone on EU was specifically going on the Living Flame server, even more so than on NA, which is funny because Crusader Strike had the streamer server, but a lot of players specifically didn't want to play on the streamer server. So they are also likely talking about removing the lock on Living Flame. This means you most likely will be able to create characters on Living Flame EU soon, with the hopes that folks are now decently invested on their original realms, communities, and it's only people that were locked out from their friends that will be re-rolling. This might unlock the floodgates, and if so, try to get a character fast because they're gonna relock it. But this is one of the other things I think is just some huge and amazing news to see, that one, no bleed immunities, no poison immunities, 2, we can actually play with our friends again. I can make more characters on my main realm and everyone can come over and play the game again. Blizzard is listening and they're talking and communicating with the community, and it's just beautiful to see. I'm really excited about phase 2, and I've got a few more guides coming out before phase 2 launches in 2 days, especially the guide on how you can get from 25 to 40 in like such a short amount of time. It's like very min-maxy though, but I go into why it's min-maxy and not. So just, I don't know, maybe it'll be out on channel memberships first, or maybe it'll just be out today. Who knows? Okay, all right, bye.